Hi, my name is Nate Nisler, and this is for Hyperactive Studios. Now, we're going to continue on with PHP. I believe this will be the fourth video. And we're going to start looking over at arrays some more. We just finished doing a bunch of arrays with loops, and that knowledge is going to come in handy again. But I copy and pasted some of the stuff we had from loops here over on this side here. So we have our arrays that we started to make here, names here, for instance. And so I just copied names here and pasted it in. And I did the same thing here with a few other things like ages, some ones like that. And then also I did the one with the cars here. But I added to it a little bit because, well, and we're going to need our for eaches here bit by bit as we do. So here's my cars array. This is a two-dimensional array where I added additional cars to it. And so we're just going to kind of use some of this stuff so we don't have to rewrite a bunch of things. You can copy and paste by saying Control-C after you select the text and then Control-V to paste it. So it works the same way in a bunch of applications. Most applications use Control-C, Control-V. So yeah, very cool. Anyways, let's look at doing something else here. For instance, so $, nums, and we're going to check out a new function called range. So, well, it's not new, but well, new to you. So, say 1 to, I don't know, 15, for instance. I'm not sure. That sounds good. So now if I want to see the contents of this, essentially, what I need to do is do a for each loop on it. So I need to say for each, and I need to say something like nums, $nums would be even easier, even more useful. Yeah, there we go. There's a word. Num. I'm on a roll today, huh? All right, close that curly brace. Then come over here, and then we need to do our echo. And we just need to echo out our number. So $num plus, in quotes here, br/, like that. And it pretty much sets this up for our for each statement. Now we probably also want to put an echo down here at the bottom within quotes here. And then we need to do something like a p tag inside that to give it a spacing. Otherwise it's all going to be crammed together, and that's not going to be desirable. And you'll notice this is just like when we did over here previously. So you can see the results here. Oh, did I do a plus? Starting to think about it. Yes. Sorry, I'm thinking other programming languages, they use a plus. I need to use a dot for oh gosh, I just realized I did that. For PHP it has to be a dot. So my mistake. For concatenating. Sorry, not to confuse anyone. And then this right here also needs a closing semicolon. But yeah, it's same as before here. So if I save this, what this will do is it will generate an entire list of 1 to 15 for the numbers, and then we're just going to display them one by one on each line. So it's kind of cool. And bam, there we go. We get a nice listing of 1 through 15. Very, very cool. You can imagine using this to create all kinds of things you need to do, lists or whatever. Ta-da, there you go. It's pretty cool. Alright, so that makes an easy way of creating a range of values or numbers. But we can do it even more so. And I'm going to do that whole copy pasting I was just talking about a second ago. Yeah, I'm going to do that here so I don't have to do it again. So say that I want to come in here and I want to do by say 5 to 25 maybe, and I want to do it by 5s. So it defaults to 1 by default. So like up here, it would have been the same thing as if I had done this right here and then said 1 there. But I didn't. I just did that before. And that's the same thing because it automatically defaults to 1. But otherwise, if I give it a different number, it'll start counting by that number. So it's counting by 5s here versus counting by 1 over here. So it counts up by 1. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right? But if I do it here, it's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Because I'm counting by 5s like that. Alright, so I'm going to say num5s because I'm going to be counting by 5s. I'm just going to say this is a nums 5 here, and that'd be a num5, counting by 5 like that. Cool. And I'm just going to save. So there we go. I'm going to pop back over here to my browser. I'm just going to hit refresh. I'm going to get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Like that. And I'm going to be counting by 5s. Alright. Awesomeness. Let's do one more here. And that is, this is not the only way you can count. You don't have to count just with numbers. You can count with other things too. Alright. Let's count with, oh, I don't know. Let's do A through Z. A through Z sounds great. Well, I'm not going to say 5s. Let's say alpha. Alphas would be even better, right? Plural. And then we'll do alpha for each individual. Alpha numeric. Well, alpha. It'll just be alpha. Yeah, whatever. Alphabet letter, right? Yay. Individual alphabet letters. Alright. Save. There we go. And we are saved. And there we go. And there we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, I want to point out something. I'm having these going down vertically. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing that because I put it in a vertical by doing a BR tag now. If I wanted to, I could change this. Say I wanted to have them separated by spaces. Instead, I can do that because maybe this is like not the way I want to do it. That's fine. So instead of going vertically with this, I could go horizontally. Now we get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. Yeah, so you get the whole alphabet there. Nice, right? I can do the same thing with these numbers here, but I also can do it vertically. So I'm just going to leave one of them vertical, which is a shorter one of the two, and make the longer one here go horizontal also, so that I am not wasting space. But that's how easy it is to change that up. Just separate it by a space versus by a whole new line. So, you know, break tag's going to be like hitting the enter key over and over again for each thing. But if I put a space in here, it's going to literally space each one out as it loops through it. So we come back over here and I just say refresh. Pow, there we go. 1 through 15, the whole alphabet, and then we're doing vertical, we're going to count by 5s. That kind of shrinks that page down there. So very, very cool. And very, well, not so bad. Alright, let's go over to the next thing here. Okay, so this next part here, I'm just going to go ahead and go over how we can use the list function and also the each function. And they're useful in their own right. You want to use them together, really. If you just do each on a regular one, you'll just get back the index for each value. So that can be useful. You could use this in a loop also. Like, say, you could put this inside of a while loop or something of that nature, and it'll work. But just showing you an example of this working here. So remember we have ages, and ages is an associative array where we have a name associated with a value. So what if we want to change things up a bit and we want to associate, we want to break these values up into their parts. So in order to do that, I say each here. It's going to grab each individual one as we're going through a loop. So it's going to grab the first one if I'm just running this outside of a loop, and it's going to grab that first entry. But if this was going through a loop, it grab each entry one by one as it went through a loop. If you want, I might write up a while loop here in just a second just to show that. But basically, that's how that works. And as we do so, as we get to the end of this, we reach the different values in here. So if I have $name and $age, the key, or say the description of the associative array, gets assigned into the first one, which will be $name, and then the actual value, and this is considered a value for the second part here on associative array, and that's going to get assigned into $age, like so. And so if I run this and I echo out name dot name with a $sign in front of it, dot age here, and then dot $sign age for the variable, I should get the first name in the associated array, which is Linus, and the age should be 8 because that's the value associated with it. So if I do that and I come over here and I run this, I get that. I get name, Linus, age, 8. And you might be going, well, I don't have this down here. Don't worry about it. Something we're going to get to in a bit. But everything else should look the same, basically. And so that's what we'll get right here. And it is what we got. And that happened because of what I just said. So like I said, you could break this into a loop, like a while loop, and that would work. It's basically how you use it, mainly. But I just wanted to show, pulling it out, that that's the value there. I guess I should go ahead and do that real quick. So let me break this out into a while loop also, and then you can see the result of this. Yes. Here. Say not done equals true. Semicolon. Alright, so we're going to keep looping while we're not done. Technically, you could put this entire expression directly in the while condition. I don't want to do that because it returns true every time until it's no longer anything left and it's false. But I don't want to do that. But if I say like $sign not not done, I said that is equal to something like list open close parentheses $sign name, comma, what am I doing? I was going to copy this. Sorry. I am not going to waste the time. Bam. Copy and paste. And I'm going to do the same thing down here for my echo afterwards. Alright. Okay. So this is kind of cool. I probably need to put my echo first. And I realize we've already tested it once up above here. So when we grab our each the next time, should be alright on this. But that should work if I'm not mistaken. If not, I'll throw it up in the condition. But I'm going off script, so oh well. Oh, there it is. So we got Linus twice, right? Because we looped through this. And you can see we went 8, Linus, Lucy, and then Charlie. And the loop stopped right when we got done with it. So not done became false after we reached the last person in the list, which is Charlie. So it didn't keep going after that, and so that was that. So that is an example of it. Again, we're just grabbing each one of these items. So we look at each. It's going to grab that whole entry, right? And then just as a recap here, we're going to put the key value. It's going to go into the first variable, which is that one there. And then the value associated with the key, which is why it's called associative array, gets assigned to the second variable, in this case age. And then we're just basically displaying these here. So very, very cool. And the reason why I put the display here part first is really because, well, I want to make sure that this thing displays properly before it gets its not done. So if you put the not done in front of it, you could have a scenario where it tests out false because there's nothing left, but then you're still trying to do an echo statement, so that would be a problem. I guess you could, echo out the previous one maybe or something. Let's hope so it doesn't cause an error. But that's kind of reason why I restructured that logic there. But basically, there's that. Alright, let's go down a little further here. And let's have a look at, of course I would recommend instead of doing this while loop, I just use a for each loop because it's really designed to do this. It's got the same idea, but you're doing it this way. To be honest with you, I would always just use the for each loop. Just me personally, that's my own coding preference. Maybe someone else would choose to do this, but I'd say most programmers are going to choose to do the for each loop. It just makes more sense. It's a loop designed for that. So, and you can see how easy the for each loop makes this. Like, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice. It's definitely nice. All right. But with that all aside, let's have a look at one other aspect. And that is this triple matching. Now, I didn't go over this earlier, but if I assign my car's multidimensional array to car's 2 variables, will make it also an identical multidimensional array. I can do a identity test. This is beyond, this is something that PHP has. I can't think of another language that has this, but PHP does. And this tests to see if several things are true. Not just that the data is a match and the array is the same, but also that the data types match. I mean, it basically tests every aspect of the array on here. It's not just that, hey, they're both the same size and memory. It's, hey, the contents match, the data types match, they're in the same order for the elements themselves match, everything matches type thing. So if you want to do an equivalency test on an array, it's a really good idea to do the triple equals instead of double equals. And if you want to test to make sure two of them are not the same, you want to say exclamation mark equals equals for the associative, well, not associative, but well, it can be associative array, but between two arrays. Basically, if you're wanting to test arrays, I recommend using the triple equals or the double exclamation mark double equals there for not versus they are the same here. So that is the deal with that. And when I run this, well, you already see it right here. Identity test triple equals true when both arrays have matching elements with matching types in the same order. So, you know, it works out. And it worked. So there's that. And that's how that works. So there's some other things we can do too, though. And I'm going to play with the associative arrays because they're kind of a better fit for me showing off some of this stuff here, really. And we could continue to work on, I'll tell you what, let's just do it up here and have a little fun with this. Now I can do what's called a sort on this stuff. So we don't have to write our own sorting algorithms. We don't have to do a bubble sort or radix or any of those other types of sorting algorithms. They're already built in with an optimized one. And we just use the function called sort, open close parentheses, semicolon. And then in here, we can say what we want to be sorted. So pretty cool, really. But let's say $sign ages. And we'll just sort this accordingly. Alright. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do it on names first. And then we'll come back and... yeah, because there's specific ones for different types of sort. Okay, hold on. Alright, let me change this to names. And then we will do ages, but first I want to do names. And we'll do a sort accordingly for that. Sorry, I feel like I'm kind of getting ahead of myself on some of this here. Alright, so I sorted that, and then I just really want to do a for loop. I'm too lazy to type it up. So I'm going to copy, I do this. It's going to kind of copy and paste that, like so. And let's say in num, we'll say name. Like that. Bada bing. Alright, and it'll basically be alphabetical order. So we get Charlie, Linus, and Lucy. Now this is different. Notice that is actually sorted alphabetically. Very, very cool. And that is based on the alphabet. And that's not the original order. If we go back to our code, right, the original order of our names is Linus, Lucy, Charlie. So it wasn't the original order, but just by putting a sort in there, it sorted this array and kicked it back out with the same name. And then when I loop through this and display each one, they are in their alphabetical order. Now I can change this up. Check this out. If I put an R in front of it, and I'm just going to copy and paste this again so I can show the difference. If you just put R in front of it, it means reverse, and this will actually put it in reverse order. So it'll do Charlie be last because it'll be reverse alphabetic, where it's like Z to A basically instead of A to Z. If you do sort, it's A to Z. If you do R sort, it's Z to A. Alright, so refresh. Pow, there we are. And we have Charlie minus Lucy, and then we have Lucy minus Charlie, right? Because we put in R sort. Now, what if we wanted to do our associative arrays? So that's great for a single array like that, but let's have fun with our associative arrays too. Can't leave them out, right? So let's not. So very cool. Let's do that then. So one of the things I want to do is I want to come in here to my ages and let's just mess with it a bit. Now we can sort according to their value. If we say a sort like that and then open close parentheses semicolon, we can actually sort based on the values that are stored inside of the associative array instead of its keys. So remember, this would be keys right here, but this is my value. So if I want to sort according to my values, then I use a sort. Okay? And there we go. We get 7, 8, 9. And it's not doing it based on alphabet or anything of the sort. It is doing it completely based on the number values here. And we can see that happening here. Very, very cool. If I don't want to do it on the values, though, say I want to do it on the keys, then I can say a K here. Or if you want to say a description, that's another way to put it. But say I want to sort on this in alphabetical order. Not a problem. We just say use K sort on our associative arrays, and it'll come back over here, Firefox, and we update that. And it actually ends up working out because Charlie, Linus, and Lucy just so happen to be alphabetical order and also number order identical. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, okay, so it just happened to be that way. We can mix things up a bit if you like. You can say 9 here and switch this with 8 just to kind of make this hit home a bit more. What's the odds, right? Okay, so now it's doing it based on alphabet order. It was before too. It's just that the two, stars aligned more or less, if you will. The two just happen to be the same on alphabetical order and number order. But if I come back here and I do a sort, I'll prove to you yes, that was actually doing it based on the value instead. And there we go. We get 7, 8, 9 now in that order. So there we go. And that's kind of funny. Alright, so there we go. But just like before, we can also do a reverse sort on this. So I could also come here and say RA sort. And then we'll do in reverse order on the associative values. Or at least I would hope that's the one it was. And I just was, I know what I did. Alright, that's the one. Sorry. Swapped it around. As I do that. Alright. There we are. So much better now. So now it's 9, 8, 7. I can do the same thing with the K sort too. It has to be KR sort. KR sort. And then this is going to do it in reverse order for our keys, or aka our descriptions, this part, essentially. Okay, if I come back to Firefox and I refresh, there we go. And we get this back in the order of the alphabet. So it's Lucy, Linus, Charlie in reverse. So Charlie is last. So again, Lucy, Linus, Charlie, just like before. So based on the alphabet for the keys. So it's a good example of how to do several things here. We'll keep going and doing some more stuff. But I just wanted to kind of pop these together and show this set up here as far as that goes. Alright, let's continue on. So going back over to the sort, I want to cover something. there are some special options on the secondary parameter that can be passed in. And one of those is the default, which we already see when we do this. So if I say sort underscore, and then I say regular, like that, I get my standard sort. It doesn't change anything. By default, that is what it's doing with parameters when we don't do anything at all. However, we can actually change this up a bit. If we say sort numeric, for instance, right? This will sort it based on numeric values instead of, say, string values. So you could have numeric values in a string, and if you want to order it based on the numeric values and sort according to that in there, then having it set sort to numeric would be a great way to do it. If you want to treat it as text instead, though, you can sort it by string, and I'll show you the options in a second. And there we go. It's not going to make any change on this particular scenario, but if you did have numbers in there, it would make a difference. Alright, and then string. So sort string is the last one there. And I'm not used to seeing string all caps. Messes with my head. Alright. And then we get here, Charlie, Linus, Lucy accordingly. Hey, actually, I think it did switch it up there. Hold on a second. Let's see that. Switch that back over to numeric again real quick. Alright. And this is the one we want to watch for right here. Let's see if that changes. And yeah, actually it did. It actually said Charlie, Lucy, Linus. So yeah, it actually did change the order. Okay, cool. It's doing it based on the numeric value instead of on the string value. If I say string, it's going to do it according to the string value. And you're probably going, well, what numeric value? Well, probably on the order at which the I'm not sure. It makes more sense when you have numbers. Anyways, Charlie, Linus, Lucy. There we go. So back to string as far as that goes. But anyways, I want to show you those particular options. Now, let's also get into something besides that, and I want to show you how you can actually reverse an array before it's even without sorting it. So there's a way to actually reverse an array without sorting it, and I need to show you that now. Oh, and these sorting options also work with rsort too, by the way. So go figure. Kind of makes sense. So I'm just going to take that again. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to say reverse sort. No, reverse array, sorry. Yeah. Well, actually, it's array reverse, sorry. Let's think about it for a second. Give me several iterations. I'll get it right eventually. Alright. So, there we are. Like that. And so this is not going to sort our array, it's just going to reverse our array. So there's a difference with that. And we can see the result of that. We have Linus, Lucy, Charlie. It's just in reverse order. Or is it? Oh. Dude. Let's say, no it's not. When you do a reverse array, you need to set equal to itself again. Sorry, I forgot about that. Names. So it's not like the sorts. You actually have to say equal back to itself again. Otherwise, it does it. It just doesn't assign it to anything, and so nothing ever happens. Yeah, there we go. Charlie, Lucy, Linus. So it's reversed it. If we look at the original definition of this array, Charlie, Lucy, Linus in reverse. There you go. So it's a match. That worked. So that's how you can reverse it. That's a couple of those other extra options. And let's also talk about one other one, and this one's kind of interesting. This one's called Shuffle. And Shuffle's pretty neat. Shuffle can do, well, basically it randomly reorders your array. And you might be going, well, why on earth would I want to do that? Well, okay, so say you had like an array of the top books. Like say you have like one of those book sites, like maybe Audible or something like that, right? So say you had like a website like that. Amazon owns that one. And then you wanted to take like the top books, throw them all into an array, maybe store this into a database. What's the top rated books? Maybe they go into, you're able to do it, well maybe it doesn't go into a database, you just basically do a query on the top rated books. And you pull all the top rated books and you store them into an array. And then you can use Shuffle to reorder them each time someone comes to the page. And then maybe you only grab like the top 5 of those entries for top 5 elements, and then thus you're showing 5 different books that are the favorite books out there each time someone goes to a page. And so this way you keep getting these updated information of different elements on the page that are like the most popular. And so you're more likely to drive more sales because there's, you know, a lot of these popular books are getting put up on a regular basis in front of people. Maybe it goes down the sidebar or something like that. And you know, just more people are likely to click on and purchase them. Like, oh, that sounds cool. Oh, a lot of people like this. Oh, this has all these awesome ratings from all these different, you know, things or whatnot. So there you go. That's kind of that idea. So let's look at Shuffle here, real quick. And Shuffle's kind of interesting. It Now let's have it in reverse before I do this. I don't care. I don't care. And I don't have to assign it back to itself. So reverse array is the only one like that. I don't know why it's the only one like that, but it is. So we come back here and we say Shuffle. Like that. Alright. And so with it set to Shuffle, our array will be different, ordered. It's kind of cool. If I come over here now and show you this. Sorry. Here we go. We got Linus, Charlie, Lucy. But check it out. I can keep doing this and the order can change on this. See that? How it's changing around that one spot? It's because it's randomly reordering it. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference because it randomly selects the same thing several times in a row at times. So it just, you know, it depends. But if I had this on a large number of items, well, not even a large number of items, but if I did this on, if I did it on a decent number of items, I'm only selecting like the top 5 or 3 or 6 or whatever on it and displaying those, then, you know, it would randomly change up those items on a regular basis on the page. And so we wouldn't be seeing the same item over and over again all the time. Keeps it from getting boring. So, pretty cool. And that is Shuffle. Alright. So, now that we've seen Shuffle, there's another one that we should be interested in. And that is Explode. And Explode is a very powerful and very useful array capabilities. You will love Explode when you're coding with posts and gets and things of that nature, or JSON, any of that kind of stuff. You will love it. It will make your life so much easier. This is something you will use on a regular ongoing basis. So I'm just going to scroll to the bottom and I'm just going to put this on here at the bottom. Let's say, let's do a string here. Let's call it like $, programming. Alright. Let's say in quotes, this is a string, semicolon. Let's say something like C, comma space, C++, comma space, C sharp. Kind of leads right into Java, comma, and let's say JavaScript. Well, let's do Python. JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Okay, that's enough. Alright, there's some programming languages. But I want to turn this into an array. It comes in a string. So this happens all the time where you get data in and then you need to convert it from a string into an array. And you want to do this in an easy way. If you have to parse this would take a bit of time and effort. So you don't want to do that. So you want to use something called explode to help you out with that. So say programming. This is really kind of cool. Array equals explode. Now, what am I going to explode? I'm going to blow it up. No, I'm going to break up this string, and I need to break it up based on comma and a space. See? Notice now it does need to be consistent on the stuff, just FYI. But if it is, then you don't have a problem with it. $sign programming, like so. And then that will generate this programming array. And then I'll need a for each. And let's face it, I'm too lazy to type. So I'm going to come down over here. I'm going to copy, Control C, and then Control Paste. And I'm just going to grab programming array, kind of like that. Bam, copy that. I'm just going to kind of do that right there. I'm just going to swap this out for, let's call it language. And space is too close to what it was before, so I'm going to actually put BR tag in there. Just so it's something drastically different, and that way you see it. Whoa, hey, they're on their own line, before they were just spaced apart and whatnot. But what it's going to do is it's going to actually convert it into an array, and then we're going to loop through each element array and put it on its own line for each element, which will be each language. So like C will be on its own line, C++ will be on its own line, C# will be on its own line, Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You get the idea. Alright, so if I come over here to Firefox and I say update, bada bing. C, C++, C#, Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, etc. All on their own line and not together. Alright, and so that's essentially how explode works. It's extremely useful. There's actually a ton of functions for arrays. We are not going to be able to go over them all. There's, gosh, just like 50 or 100 of them, something like that. There's a bunch of them. And we simply just don't have time to do it. We kind of talked about each for a second there. I just want to talk about some of these others. I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to talk about them more or less. And show you. I'll give an example of how you would do it, but I'm not going to actually code them up because I just use a for each loop for this stuff. I'll be honest with you. Alright. Let's see here. Where's my while? I had a while loop around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yay. Here's my while loop. Alright, cool. So here's our each function. And that was for grabbing each element out of the array. Now we don't have to just do each. We can also do different ones too. We also have previous, and we have current, and we have next, and we have end, and we have position of where it is in the array, or we could say reset. So as to where our position is in the array that we're accessing. So just as a for instance, in here, I could say, instead of each, I could say something like next. And this will grab me the next element instead of that particular element. I could also have done previous, or prev, basically for previous. And I'll grab the previous one element in the array. Of course, it's not going to work too well for a loop, but you get the idea. And then, besides that one, we can find out what the current one is. Or we can do the end of the array, be the last element in the array, just by saying end. Or we can say reset, which would take us back to the beginning of the array. And so there you go. And oh yeah, and then post for position in the array. Something like that nature right there. And you'd have to say, of course, where in the array. So, comma. and then the position number value there for this position in the array. So maybe like the 5th element in the array, we're going to jump to it. You get the idea. Let's go back to my each here real quick. Just like we had up here, we had each and all these different ones here. But I don't have to necessarily do each on it. Here I go off in uncharted territory again. Alright, so make sure I haven't messed anything up. Okay, I haven't. Cool. And let's see here. Instead of doing each, I'm going to do next because can't do previous because we're at the beginning of the array, right? All right. So it kind of sort of worked the way we wanted it to. Let me do this on a regular name one instead. Let's go back to each one on that. Let's see if I can't show you a better example here with just names. Okay, so we got names in here, and then I have names here for my username. If I were to say $, names, and then I were to do next on that, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully this doesn't have to be inside of a while loop. This is stuff you'd use inside like a while loop always, but yeah. Okay, yeah, it worked. I was hoping. Never used it outside of that, but alright, let's find out. So next did what it was supposed to do. Instead of doing Linus, it went straight to Lucy. So it didn't do the first element. If I say current instead, should be the first element, if I'm not mistaken. Current. In this scenario, since we're starting with the array at the very beginning, it would be current. So that'd be Linus's. Yep. So there it is. It worked exactly like I said it would. Grab the first element. Yay. I can't really do previous without having to. I'll show you that in a second. Kind of difficult to do that one. Alright. So besides that, let's look at doing good old end. End is a good one, right? Alright. Let me see Charlie's age here. 7 years old. Awesome. So we went to the end of that. Just do a reset. Reset. Right. Cool. And then let's look at also, so let's kind of set this up a certain way here. Let's do a next on this and then do a previous because it's kind of difficult to show this off otherwise, right? So for that reason, I'm going to swap it up a bit and let's just do previous. I don't know another way to really show this one off. Alright. Just like that. And you have Lucy, Linus, etc. And okay. So that just pretty much covers these different ways of moving about in the array and things of that nature. Well, there is POS to do too. So position. Basically, if I come up in here and I say POS like that, and I say save, it's going to show me whichever one set the standard, whatever position sets. That's the one it's going to show me. Of course, I don't have position because I haven't started it. So let's see here. Let's do a next here. I guess after I did previous, then I'll actually have a position in this thing, because currently it doesn't have a position, and so that's the problem here. So if I were to say POS here, close parentheses, semicolon, I guess this brings up a good point. You actually have to be within a position of the array starting off with, because the default starting position of 0 is not what position is set to. It's wherever your current position is actually set. So it's not set, so nothing happens. And if I come in here, we now see it says Linus right here in front of the name because we told it to right here when we did our position. So if I go ahead and do a BR tag with that, there, keep that from all jumbling together. Back over here like so, and bam, there it is, just Linus. So now we're getting that position. So that's a good point. You know, if you go grab it at the beginning of the array, first off with POS, it's not going to work for you because you're not going to have a position. So if you don't have a position, position doesn't work. You have to have a position for position to work. So that's kind of what the deal is with that, and I'm just kind of showing where we're grabbing where we are in the position. In this case, it would be the first element, because we went next and then went previous, so we're back to the starting point. But if we put it up front at the very beginning, it's not going to work, even though we're at the beginning of the array, because according to the system, we haven't used the command to actually set it to an actual position yet, so therefore it doesn't have a position to work with. Alright, so that's kind of how that works. Oh, I don't know. Let's look at push and pop for arrays. Now, it's totally possible that you can set up an array that has nothing in it. I'm just going to kind of scroll to the bottom here. All over the place. My gosh, this file's getting big. Let's say we want to create a new array, and let's say, oh, I don't know. Let's just create a new one and call it like $sign countries. Alright, so no equal array, like so, and we have our open close parentheses and nothing at all this time. You might be going, oh no, wait a minute, we have to have something, otherwise it's not going to work, right? No, not exactly. What we can do is say array and then underscore push, like this, open close parentheses semicolon, and then we need to say what array we're going to do. In this case, countries. My cursor. Countries, comma. Let's see here, and then we put some entries in after that. And you can say as many entries as you like. I don't know. I'm not going to do a bunch here, so how about good old United States? All right, since that's where we're at, or at least I am. Germany, Japan. Yeah, I'm out of room. All right, I'll just do 3. That's good enough. All right, and so after I'm done running this, I will have all 3 of those elements in this array, and I can prove it. We can just do another for each. And grab my patented laziness. It's not really patented. Come over here, and I'm just going to grab countries, paste, like that, place that one with country. All right. Then we have United States, Germany, and Japan. And that's an example of doing push. Now, to show you that you can also do another one called pop. Now, you push these onto what's called a stack. So you push it onto this array. It goes on the order in which you push it on. A good way to explain this, a lot of people like to use this example, the dinner plates. If you're at a restaurant and you're a server or something like that, and you put the plates on a stack. In order to get to the bottom plate, you have to take all the other plates off to get to it. Well, that's what you're doing when you're doing a push. You're just putting another plate down on top of the other plate, another plate on the next plate, so on and so forth. When you pop, you take plates off the top, one at a time. This gets into stack algorithms. I'm not going to get into that much in this video. It's kind of a more advanced topic in programming, so I'm not. There are ways in which you want to use a stack, and it's extremely efficient, extremely way to go. Basically, if you're going to have something put, okay, I'll explain it just in basic explanation here. Basically, if you have an algorithm in which you can lay items on in the order in which they need to happen, you can pop off each item to make it do it in that order, and you don't have to worry about going through and sorting back through the order or whatever. This makes it an extremely fast algorithm because you can just grab exactly what you need and execute it every time you go through each loop iteration. That is a good way of using stacks, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video, so I'm not going to get into it. But I am going to show that you can pop these. Alright, so if I push that on there, and so just like the push, we can do a pop. And I'm just going to pop one. And if I pop one item off an array, then I only get one will be missing. So Japan's going to disappear from our list, and the reason why is because it was the last one to be put onto our list. So kind of explains why that's going to be here. So when I go to list it a second time here, gotta be kidding me. Oh, because I pushed and didn't type in pop. Oh wow. Pop. Why didn't it work? Oh well, probably because I didn't pop it. There we go. That was popped. And so we popped the last one off the top of the stack, or aka array. It's kind of weird you can treat arrays like stacks, but you can in this programming language. Other programming languages you can't do that. You have to use a stack. But in this one, you can do it with arrays for PHP. Alright. Next one's going to take a little bit more setup. And then I'm going to be pulling this to a, I don't know, to a close here. I'm just don't want to keep trying every single thing there is on arrays. I'm just kind of getting to to my limit of how much stuff I want to cover. So, oh man. Alright, let's see here. Let's do, alright, I don't know, let's do, size of function. Let's do this on the countries. Alright. Size of 2. That's the size of function on an array. It works a lot like count. But anyways, there you go. There's size of. Um, let's see here. I think I need to cover, let's go over array walk. We'll need to create a function for that basically to really get that to work the way we want it to. Which will take a little bit more work as far as that goes to set up. And then maybe I'll end with extract. I don't know. Like again, I'm getting to the limit of how much stuff I want to cover on arrays. This could go on and on and on and on. I forgot to put my semicolon in there. I'm surprised anything worked at all on that. But yeah, I mean, it was the last line of code. That's why it worked. But let's see here. Basically, you need to write a function for this, and maybe like display array. Yeah, I mean, that might not be a bad choice for how to go about it here. Not hard to decide, really. Yeah, let's just do a function and call it something like display array. Sounds good. I don't know. Alright, and I want to pass in, let's pass in my $sign. Let's call it key and $sign value, like that. Since that's what it is. And then inside here, we're just going to echo out key and value. So let's see here. We did names as a array. So let's kind of set this up the way we did before, above Charlie and Linus and Lucy. So our Peanuts gang here. So $key is going to be the name, right? Could call it name. That'd be nice, right? But I didn't. And I come in here, and the next one I'm going to say is like age. Alright. So this is where we did our age before, colon. And then this is going to be $sign value. I'm making this kind of more generic. Of course, my text isn't generic. I could make it generic. That would be probably better, actually, but whatever. I mean, I could come in here and say key and value and be boring like that, but I know I'm specifically doing this with setup of our code from before, so I'm not going to. So there we go. I'm just going to echo that out. I really don't need anything else in this function. Alright, and so this makes it easier for me to pass this in when I go to do this walk array. And what walk array does, or should I say array walk, but essentially what it does is lets us just go through all the loop iterations, all the different elements in the array. Essentially it's a loop inside this function. And it just executes each one with whatever function I want for each element array. So if I want to apply the same thing to every array element, I could do it this way. So for instance, in this case, if I say $sign was it ages, I believe it was, right? I think, or is it age? Is it ages or age? I don't remember. It's ages. Okay. Thought I made it plural because it was an array. I like to do that for my naming conventions. Kind of helps me keep track if this is a single variable or if it's an array by just adding an s to the, making it plural for the name of something. But it's just a programming trick I do. Anyways, display array like that, and that's the function I'm going to pass in to this, and I need to put this in quotes like so. Okay, and then when we do this, it should just automatically go through all the elements. Again, I haven't tested this, and I totally destroyed it. Awesome. Good for me. When do I not destroy stuff? Alright.